This is not researchers running the groups, this is people running the groups in their local day centre, local day hospital or memory service. And we found that cognition and quality of life didn't change in normal practice. But what we also found was that we've got guidelines for inclusion in the groups of having mild to moderate dementia. So the guidelines are not for the very mild group who might just have borderline symptoms. When we actually excluded people who were too highly functioning, which is 25 or more in a mental state, there was actually a significant improvement in cognition. Now this was important because what we found sometimes in the groups is that there's a certain motivation from staff to say, well, if the CST works well, we should include people as mild as possible in it. It's like saying, well, it's then should we include people with mild cognitive impairment or very mild dementia? But actually, it was actually designed around people with mild to moderate dementia, not the very mild group. So probably the people with the very mild dementia were too good for the CST. They didn't need CST groups. They probably would just be, getting cognitive stimulation in everyday life. And this is why we found a significant difference when we excluded the very mild group. So lastly, I'm going to talk about individual CST. This is 75 sessions of CST delivered by a family carer. We were hoping people would be delivering 2 or 3 sessions a week. The sessions are 20 to 30 minutes each. And what people were telling us about the group CST is that some people didn't want to leave the house, or some people couldn't leave the house because of transport problems. Some people didn't want to go to groups. And also the family carers wanted something that they could do with the person with dementia themselves. And they wanted something they could do, generally, which was interactive, which was enjoyable. And we had people, somebody wrote us a letter and said, well, I used to go and visit my mum, we'd chat a little bit, but we didn't know how to spend kind of meaningful and enjoyable time together. And now we're playing dominoes, or she's beating me at Scrabble, because they were using the ICST program, and then they were thinking about other things they could do alongside it. So we found that actually the relationship aspect seemed to be very important. So we had themed activity, and we used the same therapeutic principles as for CST. We did the similar approach to consulting professionals and staff and family carers and people with dementia about the layout of the book. We produced very nice quality. This was homemade at UCL and the printers, and so we had a pack with what people used. We had a toolkit which was things like playing cards, a world map, and dominoes. Initially, we had some marbles as well, but we said you can't have marbles in your pack in case people, the risks and things like that. And we gave the carers training in this. We gave them a home-based training and continuous support across the course of the study. So they had the training, they had 2 sessions and of kind of support across the course of the study, and then they had phone support when they needed it. So we actually we got sort of survey on the book, we got some feedback. We found that the layout was good, there was a good range of activities, they were likely to be enjoyed, and so basically the design seemed to work well for people with dementia. We found also that the experts also liked it very much. So we used a long consultation process to try to get it right. And they said we'd like a level of difficulty for each thing, and sometimes it was, there was an A and a B level for more complicated things. We also consulted them. We actually gave them the initial program in like 6 sections in the field testing. And there were some of the professionals saying, oh, well, let's give them it's like a chapter that you get through and you qualify to get the next chapter. And the carer said, no, we just like one thing. We just like one book with everything in it. And so you're not trying to compile it each time. And so the thoughts we should emphasise the positive aspects of the program, particularly empowering carers and their relationship, and looking at the images were very useful because you know, the images were a good focus for discussion. And you saw another clip I haven't played is art discussion, where there's just pieces of art and they just comment on what they think of them and how they like them. The carers thought they wouldn't need much support, and we thought for efficiency, we thought, well, we'll be efficient, we'll bring the carers all to a day to a centre where we'll train them in groups. And what the family carers said was, well, if we could get out and get to a centre, we wouldn't need individual CST. So they wanted to be trained individually at home. So we used the maintenance study DVD to train them, and then we went through the activity with them, so they got the idea of what it would actually be like. And they had 2 home visits after the completion, and we looked at treatment adherence as well. We were very lucky because we started with 4 centres, but with the NIHR, we had a number of other centres saying, look, we'd like to do the trial too. And in the end, we had 8 centres, but there were 17 little centres overall. So a lot of our work with Vasily Yogeta and Fong Lung was actually running the training all the sites up and helping to coordinate the sites. But this helped us a lot with our recruitment. And you can see in this study we had 356 across the sites that were recruited, half to usual care and half to individual CST. And we had a 6-month follow-up. And we had a 13-week assessment, and we had a 26-week assessment. We still had 273 left, and so overall there was no difference between the centres in terms of the follow-up, but it was quite a good retention rate, considering the length of time of follow-up overall. Now, one of the questions was, which is a thorny question for psychosocial studies, was did the researchers collecting the data, could they predict which group people were in? We thought, well, this might happen because people have left the materials out or the manual or something like that, or people just say, oh, the sessions are really going well. And what we found is overall, around 57% of people couldn't decide which group the person was in, so the majority couldn't decide. About 23% guessed correctly or judged it correctly which group they're in, but then another 20% were incorrect in their judgment. So what we found is there was really, people didn't really have a good idea which group people were in. So this looked like the blindness, in terms of the quality of the blindness, was preserved because we were able to show that the researchers couldn't guess which group people were in, which is helpful. This paper is currently under review, and we're hoping very soon. The journal has said they want it in the March issue, but they haven't given us the final agreement yet, so we think we're close to it. So what we found was that quality of life for the person with dementia and cognition didn't really show an improvement at 6 months. So people with dementia actually said their relationship with their carer was better. So they reported a better quality of the relationship. And this may have been because they're actually doing things together, they're enjoying the groups, they're enjoying the activities together. And when we talked to the family carers said their quality of life was better. So this is something which has a beneficial impact on the relationship and on the quality of life. And we also showed that with carers that did more sessions, that there was a lower level of depression symptoms in the carers that did more sessions. Now, what we found was one of the major issues is that only about 40% of the family carers delivered 2 or 3 sessions a week. So even though they reported that the sessions were going very well, that they weren't having any difficulty delivering them, many carers weren't delivering any sessions at all, and other family carers were just delivering perhaps 1 a week or something like that. So below the threshold that we thought would lead to benefit, so we've learned from that. And these are the kind of things people said. They said, it's given me ideas I've never thought of. The family carers saying, I feel like I have a purpose, spending time with Dad. Like I said, we had people writing to us letters saying, made a big difference to the relationship, enjoyable times together, made me realise that parts of Mum's memory work and others don't. So it's kind of a positive view. Enjoying the activities, more alert, better conversation, more like her old self. Isn't that a nice thing that somebody said, that Mum's more like her old self? So we also did the economic outcomes. and we found that probably there was an economic benefit. I can just give you an eye on time here, so that it's probably economically worthwhile to deliver CST. And we used the MRC complex interventions framework again, the development and the theory, the feasibility, the evaluation and implementation. So finally, what we've got with CST is with the group activities, it can be done with the group or with a family carer. It's easy to deliver with expanded manuals and a DVD, and now we've produced the manual for family carers, and in that, with the DVD in that, the people acting in the DVD are people with dementia and their family carers. There's a young home care worker with an elderly lady with dementia. There's a number of couples, one of whom has dementia, one of whom is delivering it, and there's two sisters as well. So it's now being recommended by the World Alzheimer's Report. It's cost effective. It works well with the cholinesterase inhibitors. It's in about, it's actually in close to 80% of the memory services in the UK now, which is nice. There's a website, and we've got around 25 countries using CST. We recently had an email from India. They've adapted it in India, and I was able to say to them, well, we did an adaptation for an Indian population in London, and we can send you the details of how we adapted it. There's just been a publication on using it in Portugal, and we know it's being published and used in Japan. Somebody was giving a lecture in Indonesia, and they said, oh, this is CST, and they said, oh, yes, we do that. So somehow, it's got out there, and it's kind of spreading, and there's an international network now, and if you go to the CST Dementia website, if you're interested, then that takes you also to the international website. So I'm grateful for coming here today, and I hope that you found this interesting. Thank you.